As each and every one of us sit in our classrooms, bored, tired, and not listening, we all crave one thing. It's our phones. We all want to go check that one notification or text that one person back, but we know we can't. Teachers have hated phones since the day they were invented. They're distracting, loud, and not good for our daily minds. But what if they are? What if our phones are useful and helpful for our daily school lives? A survey by Away from the Day states that 56% of high schoolers allow their students to have their cell phones, while 82% of the high schoolers' parents don't want their children to have their phones. In contrast, a study done by the BARC says that the students should be allowed on their phones in case of an emergency, accident, or illness. School's very important, creating a new generation of healthcare workers, engineers, and many other things. Do you really want them on their phones? Phones can negatively and positively impact students. And to go over that, we're going to discuss phones can negatively impact the students, the pros and cons of the phones in schools, and the future outcomes of the students who choose their phones in classes. So to start, phones can negatively impact students in school. According to Jeremy Jorgensen, phones in classrooms increase academic dishonesty, such as cheating or lying to their teachers or anything like that. Cell phones in classrooms can facilitate academic dishonesty and cheating during exams or assignments. Many students will use apps such as Photomath or Google to cheat on their assessments in class. Stockton University states that cell phone use in classrooms decreases cognitive thinking skills. There is a lack of evidence that states that the phone use in classrooms helps students or increase their thinking, but there's a lot of evidence proving that phones distract and decrease thinking in classrooms. Not to say that there isn't positive effects of the phones, but there is a lot of negative effects of the phones in classrooms, according to different resources. As we've discussed how phone usage can lead to more distraction in classrooms, next we'll discuss the pros and cons. Pros and cons in the classroom. An article written by Sherry Sorelli states that students who are on their phones in class can have positive effects. Students have access to instant communication. Sometimes parents need to be in contact with their children or vice versa. Whether it be in an emergency or family issue, it's important that you are able to reach your child. Apps also have a big impact on students. Apps are a huge thing in our world right now. Data has shown to prove that the apps that are education related are very helpful for students in all age ranges. And to expand on that, students who could have disabilities or mental challenges sometimes need apps to help communicate with others, so it's easier for them. So having a tablet or a phone can help them communicate with other people. Phones have also have negative effects on students. According to Matthew Eulagis, phones have been shown to be very distracting in classrooms, as we've talked about. While education apps can be helpful, other apps can be distracting. Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok have all been shown to be very distracting apps in classrooms. As much as students love these apps, teachers don't, and say their students get way too distracted. A small sample study by Melissa Huey and David Guerrera found that some of the college students were randomly assigned to have their phones physically removed before class. Their mindfulness and comprehension of the course material went up. So when their phones were taken away, they were more attentive and able to understand the concepts more than when they had their phones and were on them. As we go through the pros and cons, let's talk about what happens to the students who only use their phones in class. Often, students get distracted, whether it be from outside sources like talking, texting, or social media. As students continue to get distracted, they miss important concepts that they need to be learning. Many students can pick up information quickly and get back on track, but what about the students who can't do that? What about the students who can't get their attention back on focus and back on track and pick up the information as well since they've been on their phones? According to a recent survey by Ed Weekly Research Center, an open-ended response section asking survey respondents to share additional thoughts on any education topic. More than 200 used the opportunity to voice a concern about students' cell phones, with some describing much as the use of addiction. So a lot of teachers think that their children in their classrooms are addicted to their phones, can't get off of them. So in conclusion, students' cell phones have many positive and negative effects in the classrooms. students can achieve many things with and without their phones. So there's many things that students can do with their phones, and there's many things that they can't. In conclusion, next time you bring out your phone in class, decide whether it's a good idea or a not so good idea. Instead of constantly being on your phone, try socializing in class when the teacher isn't speaking, or try to decide if the phone is necessary. So if there's things that you can do without the phone, do it without your phone. If you need your phone and you need to talk to your parent, or if there's an emergency or situation, you can take out your phone, but always maybe think twice about taking out your phone. And there's definitely positive effects from phones, and there's also negative effects. Thank you.